Welcome back to Talkers on the Wall. Tonight we are going to be talking about some ghost stories, some hauntings, some Hokum, if you would.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, like you said, we just watched it on our basically 3-movie marathon in theaters, so go support your local theater.
There's just a lot of Pete coming out recently, so
yeah.
You got to make time for it.
And we're going to be talking about Adam Scott's starring film, Hokum.
Yep.
And there's a lot to talk about on this, honestly. General thoughts right away. I'm going to slap this baby with about a 7.7 out of 10.
Yep.
Very, very good movie.
I would also give it a 7 out of 10. Just very across the board. They did a lot of things right.
Yeah.
I think for one thing, the main character, super well written.
Yeah, no, I think they did a really good job on, like, I feel like with, like, mainstream horror films and all that, they, like, make it so where it's like, man, my life is not good at all.
Yeah.
And then something bad happens. Oh, no,
what My life is even worse.
Yeah. And, like, they basically just did it to where, like, yo, this dude, he's a famous asshole.
Yep.
And he's dealing with his problems like we all are, just, projecting and doing really...
But underneath, too, you see through the film that he's still, like, a good guy, or at least he tries to be in certain aspects.
Yeah.
I mean, to give a brief synopsis of the film, he's a writer. He goes to this, like, getaway cabin in Ireland. He makes some plans to do some things there.
Yeah.
He gets into, we'll say, an accident. One of the staff members helps him out. When he comes out of the hospital, he finds out that staff member has gone missing, and he goes looking for them, and that's kind of what starts the whole story off.
Yeah, and I would say now is like the spoiler warning. We're going to go in deep into what we liked and disliked.
For sure.
So I would say my favorite things about this, this film does a really good job of making you care about characters who are only in the film speaking for about 15 minutes at max.
Yeah.
Like, the whole Fiona.
Yeah.
Like, I cared about that character. Like, she's very, like, intoxicated on screen. And then even, like, as, like, someone, like, that was an asshole the whole time, like, the main character, what was his last name?
Baum.
Yeah.
Baum.
What was his first name, though?
Ohm or something like that.
Yeah, it was weird, but...
Yeah, Adam Scott, basically. But it took very little scenes for her to come off as, like, a complex character. Because, like, right away, like, Adam Scott's character is kind of like an asshole to her. And then, like, she shows that, she's going to stand on business type of thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, she ends up helping him out. And then, like, he, like, spills all of his, like, writing stuff to her. And
for sure.
He kind of seems to connect with her as they're both kind of, like, not, like... assholes, but maybe on like the same wavelength of like the world kind of sucks sort of thing.
Yeah, and also going into it, we talked about Fiona, and now let's talk about like the crazy mushroom man.
Jerry's a very strong part of the film.
Yeah, no, I thought Jerry was great. I mean, he was like the typical like might see him at your local blue collar job.
Yeah,
like he's like, I've seen some shit, man. Like
I've been here 30 years, and you ain't seen none.
And I thought it was very cool, and like. That is the first character that we see Adam Scott's like character really talk to and like really like have fun with and not be a douchebag.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you just always sense that like genuine spirit in Jerry's character.
Yeah.
To where it's like you just naturally care about him because he's
very
uniquely
him. Yeah. He's just very charismatic in his own like weird kooky way.
It's like Radagast the Brown type of way.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, run, Radagast. Yeah.
It's just the type of person that you just can't help but like. And like, I think just while we're on the point of it on characters, the movie just does a really good job in personifying all of their characters with very short, like, you have the owner of the establishment barely, like, in the movie, but, you really get a sense of just who he is in the few scenes that he's in. You get, like, the caretaker guy, the dude with the crossbow who shoots the goats.
Yeah.
He's in, like, 3 or 4 scenes, but you get a very clear picture of who he is.
Yep.
And then as well as the manager, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cobb.
Cobb.
Yeah.
All the characters are very well written. You don't need to spend an hour and a half with each of them to know who they are and to make their characters believable. The acting in this movie, very solid.
I would, 100% agree with that. And I'm not going to add on too much to what he says as far as like the positives of the character. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I'd just be repeating what he said. But I would say that I did want a little bit more like in depth of the witch.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was like, okay, like we see like these tidbits and like there's like the whole Irish like folklore, which is cool. But it's like I'm not like I don't need the witch to like pull off like a drawing board. Here's my master plan. But
here's my whole thing.
But
now
like
prepare to die.
Yeah. Maybe like more like tidbits of like clues of like I'm not saying like this need to be the case, but like you know like how the main character has like the recording log and she's like, oh my god, there's more. And
oh god, she's telling me her master plan.
Yeah, no, not
but what I also liked about the film though, with that like the recorder, it gave me like heavy like Resident Evil vibes when you find like an audio tape and you play it, and you're like, oh my god, what is happening?
This is my third day here.
Yeah. I just love like the survival horror vibes that the movie gave,
and the puzzles too. Yeah. That was really Resident Evil.
Going to find like a tool to like start something that leads to a bunch of different things. Yeah. Super cool, like what he does with like the bell ringing to get the button to swing open. Yeah. I love that they didn't make this character just like a very stupid, like he's just getting lucky all the time.
Yeah, no.
He's very like a logical thinker. He's not, just like you could actually put yourself in his shoes in this film. There's nothing where I would be like, oh, I would have done this. Yeah. He basically does everything that you think he should do.
100%. I'd say my favorite thing about the witch in this is like kind of like whatever illusions that she's putting on, like whenever like you see like the TV screen and then like talking about like he's like reliving his trauma. I don't know if that's like the witch playing with his head or just him just like being drunk off his ass and just like
the weird rabbit shit was like
that was it was wild. And then it's like Fiona being in like that costume. But then you realize, oh, there was a Halloween party. So it's like, you're like, what the fuck? I didn't know if they were going to like play on like that. I'm just turning these dead people into like
rabbit. To go back to your point about the witch not having like too much backstory, I definitely would have liked to like see a bit more. Yeah. Like I think that the story and like the vibes of the film were so good it didn't like pull me out of it or bother me too much. No. But definitely
I was expecting a little bit of
a lot. I was definitely expecting more out of the witch. If we're being honest, she's hardly in the film. No. It's much more of a thriller mystery than a horror film.
Yeah, like when we were talking about it, he's like there's a lot of jump scares into it. And I will go into this negative and then I want to wrap it up with a very big positive. But I will say, and this is pretty much solely like first half of this film, some of like it felt cheesy, like some of like this like the sound cuts of like I was like it kind of took me out of it and I was like, oh okay, like what, this is not like a 2000s horror film. Like this movie is way better than what this sound design is.
Right. I guess that's fair. I mean, it wasn't anything I noticed or picked up on too much.
Yeah. And that is a nitpick, but like I don't know, you're a very good movie, but like that's gonna be like the small differences that gets you up to like a Nosferatu, a Hereditary, like like those types of like horror films. So
yeah, I think part of what helps the witch be scary in this film too is that maybe not a lot of it is explained. Like all you know is she got trapped in there somehow. You don't know how or what she wants or like. For a long time, I thought she would just be in there, but she's kind of more of like a ghost figure to where she just stays in the basement. Basically, there's not a whole lot explained to why she does things or when she's going to do them or how her powers work or what she wants. Yeah. All you need to know is that there's a witch and she's evil as hell, and that's really all you get. Yeah. I do love some of my favorite scenes, though, in the film where when the witch is actually like chasing him like up the... like the elevator shaft thing.
I love like the stare down too.
Yeah, when she's like just staring up and you like see the flashes. Yeah. And then she starts to climb.
And at first you don't know if it's Adam Scott's character looking down, but then you flip to Adam's up there. Yeah. I would say too, like kind of like the most grandiose moment you would get with the witch is like the chains. Yeah. Like that like. It's cool when like creatures and like antagonist monsters like can outthink or something. Like, oh, you're in shock. Yeah. It's like that's really cool.
It was really like I thought at first he was going to get the circle done, and then she was just going to pass him.
Yeah.
But she just, like, gets him right. I loved how, like, at first you think, like, maybe he's dead or something because it just cuts away from him. But then when we finally come back to see Adam Scott, he's just, like, sitting there defeated because he's in chains, and you're like, yeah, I guess what else can you do?
Yeah. Now, I spoke about the little negative. One of my favorite thing about horror movies that this movie does so good, setting. I love the Ireland like bed and breakfast feel. Yep. It is so well done. This is like one of my big things. It's like, okay, what's the monster? Yep. How good are the characters going to be? How much effort are you going to put into your characters? And what is the setting? Yep. And they smacked it out of the park. Yeah, It's
not a thing was wasted. For sure.
And like now when I go I'm good because I'm gonna go to Ireland later. It's gonna be like, oh my god, this is like Hokum,
just like the movie. Yeah. I think another thing too is that a very important thing for me in all movies and stories is that it just had a good ending. Yeah. And you get to see because like the movie frames itself at the start as the writer writing a story, and then it ends it with him like changing the ending, and so you can kind of see how like what he's just gone through has affected him, which I love. Yeah, very good. And it just goes to show, like, I guess just like the type of person he is, because how he ends the story at the start of the movie isn't much different from how he ends it in at the end. It's just like a very small difference that like
I think I mean we definitely don't see him at the end of this movie with the full character arc resolution. Right. But you definitely see he has a lot more of outlook, like more positive. Yeah. Like I mean, with characters like Fiona and Jerry, and even what was his name, the bellboy? But but just like those guys and those characters just really helped them. And all around, very good horror movie. Go see it. Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Let us know if it scared you at all, if it had you on the... There were definitely some scenes where I was getting a little antsy. I was like, what's going on here?
I'd say my fear level, maybe a 6 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd say around there.
Yeah, I was like...
5 to 6. Definitely gives you the creeps more so than anything.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's about it from us.
Yeah.
Anything else? Peace?